Alright, so I'm going to start this video off by clarifying that I'm going to cut this video into two pieces. The first piece will be a conspiracy theory that I have lazily thrown together that hopes to explain why Bethesda has been acting like a completely different company in the last 2 years and how that relates to them being purchased by Microsoft. The second part of this video will be me speculating on how Bethesda's acquisition will impact the gaming landscape, my thoughts on how Microsoft is going to handle future Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Fallout, and Doom releases, and maybe a few other talking points if I really get to rambling. Okay, so conspiracy time. A few months ago, I saw a video by Luke Stevens where he goes into detail about Bethesda's shady business practices as of the last 2 to 3 years. And to basically summarize his video on the matter, he basically has one overall talking point where he points out the botched release of Fallout 76 for the full $60 price point, as well as the Rust addition of a Battle Royale component into said game, and furthermore, the price gouging of the Atomic Shop, and by extension, the price gouging of Skyrim and Fallout 4's Creation Club content. It's a great video. I'm probably going to try and find a way to link it in the description, but he brings all this up and as like evidence of Bethesda being purchased. He called this happening roughly a year ago, and I can only imagine the pride and accomplishment he feels by predicting this so early on. I not only agree with the hints of what he spoke about in his video, but I also want to point out some other preliminary details to help solidify the Bethesda-Microsoft deal. To give you a better picture, I want you to picture this, right? ZeniMax Media, the parent company of the Bethesda Softworks and id Software, and many other notable game development studios, has just been offered a deal on a full purchase from Microsoft, but the owners board over at ZeniMax believes the monetary amount isn't quite up to snuff, so they get to planning a way to drive up the value of their company, so they do this through the purchase of a mobile company that rakes in quite a bit of revenue, one particularly by the name of AlphaDog Studios, which by the way is a fantastic move in this industry because to this day the single largest acquisition in the gaming landscape is when Bluehole purchased Supercell Entertainment, which is, for those of you who don't know, the people that make Clash of Clans, Boom Beach, Clash Royale, and many other top dollar mobile game applications. Now, around the same time as this acquisition, where ZeniMax purchased AlphaDog Studios, they start sending out instructions to rush out Fallout 76, hoping that even if just a portion of the fan base of people who bought and love Fallout 4 are going to acquire Fallout 76, spend some money in the Atomic Shop, and even overhype the game with the intent of selling as many copies as possible for the sole purpose of inflating the value of the company, just like Luke Stevens predicted in the aforementioned video down in the comments. Now, obviously, Microsoft still was not ready to give ZeniMax Media enough money they would be happy with, so they start playing hard to get, and suddenly, before we know it, ZeniMax is announcing that Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop will both be PlayStation exclusives for the launch of these games. But Microsoft, undeterred, continues to not give ZeniMax, presumably, the $7.5 billion that the owners board wants. Now, before I continue with this next bit, I want to clarify that all I've heard about this next piece of information is purely based on rumor. I don't think I've seen any tweets from anybody. I haven't seen any actual news online that discloses what I'm about to say next as actual official evidence, but it has been rumored based off of the people that I've spoken to in the background here. Now then, let's continue. In a last-ditch effort to get Microsoft to buy them out for that high dollar amount, Bethesda begins negotiations to have Starfield be a PlayStation exclusive, a move that would be a really hard gut punch to Microsoft. And Microsoft finally being told this, they cave in and agree to the deal, and before we know it, we're all waking up fucking, Saturday or Sunday morning to see headlines that Microsoft has now purchased ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion. And to give you a better idea of how ridiculous that price point is, we know that PlayStation's total revenue, not Sony, just PlayStation, their total revenue from the years of 2013 to 2019 was roughly $8.8 billion. So basically, Microsoft has spent PlayStation's revenue from those years, maybe one less year, on just acquiring a brand new game studio specifically to compete with I almost said GameStation, PlayStation, sorry, my bad. Now, obviously, I want to end cap what I just said by clarifying yet again that that's just like my conspiracy theory. Like, that's my order of events of how I view things, like how I've gone in and I've looked at all these different things that have happened in the gaming landscape, specifically with Bethesda's shady business deals over the last couple of years. And this is how I feel like things probably went down. Obviously, things almost certainly did not go down the way that I just said they were. But that is definitely like the way that I kind of view how Bethesda and Microsoft have probably been negotiating these deals for the last 2 years now. So finally, we can go down the speculation road a little bit here. Now, a lot of people on the internet are currently having a big debate after all this news, and on one side of this debate, we have the people nonchalantly like trying to brush it off. They're saying, well, of course, it'll still come to PlayStation. They're talking about, Bethesda's games. They would lose so much money by it not coming to PlayStation, and, while I agree with Xbox potentially losing money by it not coming to PlayStation, or sorry, technically Bethesda would be the ones losing money. I think Microsoft would be gaining money as a whole, because you'll probably see more people purchasing Xboxes and PCs and stuff like that, and kind of going away from PlayStation, or just spending extra money to have both consoles, so that they can experience specifically Bethesda games. It's gonna be a pretty big console seller up there with Halo Infinite and the new Fable game. So I definitely think that it's not definitely anything to just brush off. And now people on the other side of the debate, they're claiming the whole, are you kidding? Microsoft just dropped $7.5 billion fucking dollars. There is no way in hell that they're going to put it on the PlayStation 5. Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, all these IPs are going to become console sellers moving forward. And again, that's basically just a reiteration of what I just said. But that is what the two sides of the debate here are. Now, I know that there was an official statement where Xbox stated that the console exclusivity is going to be on a case-by-case basis, and they're still going to honor the deal to make Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop as PlayStation 5 exclusives. So, it's kind of up in the air currently. To top all this information off, we have, according to Angry Joe, the Angry Joe Show, I couldn't confirm this myself, this is the only person that I could find that spoke about this, but apparently Bethesda removed the PlayStation 5 logo from their webpage, and again, it must have probably been like a change that happened the day of the deal, and then like maybe a day afterwards they just removed all logos, because I went and looked at the Bethesda web pages, and I even downloaded the Bethesda launcher for the first time in fucking ages, and I tried to look up Starfield on there, and there's no... I just don't know what Angry Joe's talking about, but he did say it happened, so for the purposes of this speculation road here, I'm going to just run with it, and I'll try and tie it into my further points. Now, here's my 2 cents on the matter. I think it's in Microsoft's best interest to make Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop release as a PlayStation 5 exclusive at the $70 price tag that apparently so many publishers, including PlayStation, are encouraging. I think they should even refuse to lower it and keep it on the PlayStation Store at that $70 price point. Then, once their contract expires, I think they should release a $60 port of the game over to Xbox Series X, as well as place it on Game Pass. And I also think, that they should ensure that whatever sequels come of these two games definitely need to be Xbox exclusives to further pressure fans of that series to make the switch. Now, that might be a bit of a scummy business practice, but Xbox is still not quite up there with PlayStation yet. Like, they horribly lost the entirety of the last generation of, the consoles, and I definitely think they need to play some hardball here in order to, catch up to what PlayStation is doing out there with all their, timed exclusives, full exclusives. So many games PlayStation has that Xbox just can't compete with, and I think Xbox needs to employ some of these tactics going forward in order to ensure that they stay relevant going forward outside of just Game Pass. Now, I think that whenever it comes to games like Doom, Starfield, Fallout, Bethesda and Microsoft, I don't think they've decided anything yet. I think, in my humble opinion, that those games are very important single-player experiences, and they should be Xbox exclusives at the $60 price tag, as well as have them available on Game Pass day one, which seems to be the way that Microsoft is going with every last one of its studios anyway. A lot of comments I've seen online are people talking about how, like, Minecraft stayed, a cross-platform thing. The whole point of Minecraft is to be an agent of Xbox's crossplay campaign. Xbox has been really pushing for crossplay, and one of its strongest, components, I'm gonna say, of crossplay has been making sure that Minecraft on all platforms is fully cross-compatible. Now, they did this by obviously keeping the standard version of Minecraft on all the different platforms, but they also made a separate, different version of Minecraft that's fully cross-compatible, and I think a lot of people are kind of overlooking that Minecraft is definitely a cooperative experience, whereas games like Doom, Starfield, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, they're all going to be rich single-player experiences, and there's no real purpose for them to be used for crossplay. I don't think there is. So I'm definitely leaning towards the idea that it's most likely gonna be Xbox exclusives going forward. I mean, you know, talking back on that big $7.5 billion price point, like, I don't think Microsoft just dropped that much money just so they couldn't get some new cool exclusives on the Xbox. In fact, they're still talking about getting even more exclusives going in the future by buying out more companies, like how the internet's been going crazy during this Tokyo Game Show, talking about how, you know, Microsoft's potentially going to buy Sega, which I think there's a lot of credence to something like that. I mean, you know, Microsoft definitely needs to get a stronger foothold in Japan, and, you know, Sega's a great fucking way to do that. Plus, I really fucking want, you know, Persona on more fucking platforms than just PlayStation and Nintendo currently. So I'm really hoping that we see more of that, you know, because currently at the time of recording, I think Sega's portion of the Tokyo Game Show is like tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that, to see what comes out of it. We already had Xbox's presentation. In fact, Xbox pre-orders go live the day after the Sega Tokyo Game Show. But anyway, that's a whole different topic that I could possibly make a video on, like, tomorrow or the day after. But regardless, I definitely think that these titles, Doom, Starfield, Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, I think they're all going to be platform exclusive specifically to the Xbox. I think they're still going to come out on PC. I think that Xbox has made it very clear that they're trying to, you know, have every one of their games be on PC and Xbox. So I think, you know, it's definitely going to go that route, but I don't think they're coming to PlayStation. I don't think they're even coming to Nintendo at this point. I think the Xbox is definitely, they've spent their money and they want to keep that on their platform. Now, I'm going to wrap this up by saying that I think moving forward in the game industry, I'm really hoping we're going to see a less scummy Bethesda game studios, because everything that they've done with the Fallout 76, the duffel bag shit, the Nuka-Cola Dark, the fucking game being unplayable at launch, I think all of those things are 100% just symptoms of them trying to expand their profit margins so that Xbox and Microsoft had to pay more money so, you know, to buy them out. I definitely really hope that Starfield's as big of a hit as everyone's hoping it is. I mean, there have been so many interviews that a lot of other YouTubers have covered where they're talking about how, you know, Todd Howard in a recent interview was talking about, you know, a complete overhaul to the graphics engine and other, you know, important tidbits like that. I think it's going to be a fantastic standout game. I think it's going to not be on PlayStation or, you know, Nintendo Switch. I definitely think that it's not going to be nearly as scummy. I hope it's going to be pretty fucking polished when compared to, you know, Fallout 76. It has to be polished, but it's going to remain to be seen. And I think that, you know, even if Starfield ends up being on PlayStation, I think we're beginning to see the end of Bethesda games coming to PlayStation. I think that if they are going to continue to launch on PlayStation, we're going to see Xbox slowly transition all ZeniMax Media, you know, games over to be Xbox exclusives over time. Maybe the next Doom game will be on PlayStation. Maybe Starfield will be exclusive to Xbox. Maybe the Elder Scrolls will be, you know, on PlayStation as well. Who knows? But I definitely guarantee you that, you know, within the next couple releases of all these ZeniMax titles, we're not going to see them on PlayStation anymore. At least that's my opinion. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later. This is just, you know, a video, my 2 cents on the matter. Leave a like if you think I did fucking great, and fucking down like the shit out of this if you fucking hate it. I'll see you later.